In October of 2003, a company called FriendTech decided to release a powerful game console upgrade to the original Xbox. Let's check it out. The FriendTech DreamX-1480 was dubbed as a high-end media center, games emulator, and Linux solution for your Xbox. It featured a brand new Intel 1.4 GHz Celeron Tualatin CPU as opposed to the 733 MHz Celeron CPU featured in the original Xbox. There was also a selectable switch on the front to pick from 1480 or 740 MHz switchable speeds. The memory has also been upgraded to 128 MB of memory from the original 64 MB of memory of the Xbox. It comes pre-modded with Executor software installed, and it features a 120 GB hard drive. Otherwise, everything else is essentially the same as an original Xbox. Let's take a look inside the unit. Now, opening the case is trivial, especially if you've done it before. Just need a couple of Torx screwdrivers and away you go. Pretty simple. Now the motherboard itself is an identical Xbox motherboard, it hasn't changed. Now FriendTech, all they've done is a couple of enhancements to an original motherboard, so there's still the Nvidia GPU and the Celeron CPU next to it. Now of course the Celeron CPU is the 1.4 GHz upgrade. Now the CPU is controlled by this oscillator circuit, with the two wires on the right leading out to the front switch that controls the standard and turbo modes. And finally, an Aladdin 2 mod chip is installed, so we can get our homebrew and emulation goodness on. Running a sysinfo in Xbox Media Center will confirm the 1.4 GHz CPU speed of the FriendTech, as well as the Executor 2 BIOS. Running games seems like there's no real noticeable difference on the majority of games that I tested. Project Gotham Racing 2, for instance, shows no differences whatsoever when the standard switch is enabled, and flicking over to the turbo switch, there is no change in the frame rate at all. Rally Sport Challenge 2, on the other hand, was unplayable. The game ran so fast in both standard and turbo mode that I couldn't control the vehicle. Where the FriendTech really shines is in the homebrew and emulation stuff. This is Quake 2. This runs the 1.4 GHz mode extremely well. This is running at 800 by 600 screen resolution, something that the original Xbox would struggle with. And finally, arcade emulation. This is where the FriendTech really shines. At 733 MHz, RType Leo is unplayable. But at 60 frames a second with the 1.4 GHz turbo switch enabled, it's almost arcade perfect. Emulation aside, of course. And we're back again at the 733 MHz mode. Very slow and very painful to watch and play. And finally, the last test, I run a 720p video in Xbox Media Center. The original Xbox didn't have enough horsepower to run 720p without tons of frame skipping. Now switching over to the turbo mode, you can see the frame rates are much improved. There are still some frame skips here and there, but otherwise 720p is a reality on the Xbox. Pretty awesome stuff. So, whatever happened to FriendTech anyway? Well, their website's still up, and it looks like they're in the iPhone and smartphone business. It's a bit of a shame really, because I felt like the Xbox hardware upgrades that they were doing, they were really onto something there. One thing that's also interesting to mention is that you could actually send in your Xbox console and get upgraded by them, for a fee of course. Well, I hope you enjoyed the review of the FriendTech DreamX-1480. As always, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye for now.